All right, guys, we're back at it once again. This is Wednesday, July 9th, 2025, downtown St. Joseph, Michigan. Third Eye Truth Theorem podcast coming back at you, episode 104. 104.
Really at 104?
Yeah, 104, dude.
Look at that. We passed 100.
Moving right along, man. Moving right along. Oh, and for those that are watching on YouTube, you guys, we are like 5 out from 300.
Oh, really?
5 subscriptions out from 300. We're trying to move that on up. If you guys are watching on YouTube, please hit the like, subscribe buttons, and the bell notification so we can get more content out to you on a Monday and Wednesday night at 8 p.m.
I remember it was only one person.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Jeez,
Of course,
chucking away at this.
It was just us.
of course, after this show, you might be starting over from 150. So
Nigga.
You were disconnect from us.
it's Mr. Negative.
All right, I am your host, James Gill. This is my co-host, Joe Hill.
I'm still here.
And we have a special guest tonight. We got Ron Neforas. Did I say it right?
Neforas.
Shut the hell up.
Yeah, you had it right earlier.
Neforas?
Yeah.
God damn it, I did it again. Oh, shit. I did it again. I did it again.
Never
I
worry,
don't see you doing any
No,
introductions.
I don't. No, I don't do
So
introductions.
shut up.
I can't get my own last name right sometimes. Shut up.
Ron Neforas. Thank you, sir, for joining us tonight. I appreciate it.
Actually,
Sorry, Ron. I butchered the name.
the story of the last name is interesting because back when I lived in Illinois,
Yeah.
the band I ran, we called it Nefarious. So it's right in the pocket.
Okay.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
no difference.
You ran a band?
A bunch of guys from college days. We ended up hooking back up again after a long time.
Really?
And we probably had a 30-song set going, and we'd meet at my house every week. Beer, pizza, band. It was fantastic.
B&B.
The only people that were penalized is every time I threw a party, they had to listen to us. Yeah.
Yeah. So is this the reason why you watch live music a lot? You come to art and sandbars especially.
Music has always been, I don't know how to put it. It's always been in my veins somehow.
Yeah.
Always loved music of all kinds. And even as a kid, got big into symphonic. So there's a lot of orchestral things I like.
Yeah.
There are things I like from operatic, but my biggest was progressive rock. So as a young man, and me being an oldest of the Gen X, I came up with Yes and Rush
Oh,
and
okay.
King
So
Crimson.
you're like
Thank
the
you.
cusp of Gen X and
millennials. And
the oldest of Gen.
I'm the oldest of
Never
Gen
mind.
X. Yes.
Take that back. This is like the beginning of Gen X.
Yes.
Yeah, he's at the beginning of Gen
Yeah,
X.
I'm
So that's
60.
what
So
was that? What was that start?
I'm at the end of Gen X.
1965.
65 till 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
early 80s, right?
I was born in 65. So
Right.
and I was born in March. So I'm right at that
I'm
front
like a
end
few
of
years
that.
after the Gen X started.
That's why I am a Gen X, because I'm right at 80.
You're still Gen X.
Yeah,
you're still
yeah.
on the cusp of
Yeah.
millennial.
Yep. I'm not a millennial, not nothing. I'm a Gen X.
In the cusp. Could have been your mama held you in a few more days.
No,
No.
thank God.
So being on the older cusp, I can be
Yeah.
crabby like a boomer, or I could be a rocker like a 25-year-old.
Crabby like a boomer.
Crabby like a boomer.
Isn't that a song?
It's angry. That's the
That
Is it a song?
actually sounds like an opportunity.
Yeah, isn't that
for
a
a song. Yeah.
Crabby like a
Like a
boomer.
Yeah.
Yelling at clouds.
So actually, I'm kind of interested about this band thing. Did you play an instrument or did you just run it?
No, I played guitar.
You played
I
guitar?
played bass. I played keyboards, but play is a very loose term in my world.
Okay.
It's very
How
loose.
loose?
Yeah.
I know a lot of songs on bass.
Okay.
In the 30-tune set, I knew all 30 on guitar. So I got to play solos to
Were they covers or were you guys your own
all
originals?
covers. Yeah, we didn't do any originals.
See,
Try as we might, our brain power couldn't cook up lyrics that worked with anything. They were usually pretty crude.
Our brain power. So were you the type of bass player that always just stood in the back and just stood there and just played?
Pretty much.
No,
So I wasn't
you weren't outgoing.
a dancing, rocking bass player. I was
Yeah.
more concentrated on precision. So there are guys, and you can see them focus on the instrument. And there are several great players
Yeah.
that I've seen locally, and you can see they're paying attention, and they're paying attention to the music, and they're focusing. And those guys are very interesting for me to watch because I see what they're doing, but it's
know
from a
that
different perspective.
You know what they went through.
Yes, yes. So it's pretty cool. Now I've seen other bands where he's chunking out three root notes but he's dancing, he's having a good time, and the rest of the crowd is up dancing too.
Yeah.
So there's different perspectives.
And do you see that a lot as far as bass players go? The difference between the ones that you used to be and the ones that actually get into the dance routines or whatever the case may be.
It's very strange because a lot of them have different types of precision. Level 42 with Mark King.
Yeah.
He could dance and he could bang out stuff, but you watch, Chris Squire, he concentrated on his instrument. So some excellent technical players can still dance and move around the stage too. And they're equally interesting to watch.
This is very intriguing, actually. I'm
just to understand that your
cool.
mind on what bass players and musicians in any stage.
Yep. Where
have a different more different persona every time they go out, or any different person have different outlook on things.
Where I tended to get lost is if I get lost too far into being technical, then I don't want to play unless I'm perfect. And it actually is a disservice to where some of the guys that just jump in, hey, I'll jump in and play. He makes mistakes. He doesn't care because it's in the context of the band playing as a whole. So my buddies from college, when we get together, it never mattered. We could make all the mistakes we wanted to because we're going to see each other next week. And I've never really gotten into it on this side of the big freshwater lake, but it may be some point in the future I'll do that.
There you go.
So what was the band's name?
Nefarious.
No, well, it's
Opposite. Yeah.
Actually, it's kind of unique and it's nothing outrageous like some of the band's names that we've heard and rappers.
Was the one the Bone? Remember that?
Bone. Oh yeah, it was a Bone Threat. No, I can't.
It was something. It was like, wow, I like that name.
Yeah. Then they thought, well, we could go back to that, little bones and little crossbones and something like that. Yeah. So yeah, we've heard a lot of weird names for bands or bands that
we asked the question.
Yeah.
What was your initial name? The names that you threw out before you named
or
it.
a name that you would like to be.
Yeah.
This, I think it just followed my name because I always hosted.
Oh yeah.
Beer and pizza at my house, guys. Come on. Okay.
Oh,
Nefarious.
We'll name it Nefarious. That's awesome name, man.
So you would have this like get together at your house. Beer, pizza,
and playing. Yep.
Did you invite any like people that watch you guys play?
We had people come over and they were like, I hadn't realized you guys could do this. Well, that's a fun vote.
Right.
But then we'd have a party, and my opinion is always, all right, you've had food and drink. Now you're forced to listen to this. Sit down.
Enjoy.
I hope you enjoy, but it doesn't matter. You got to listen to it.
So
don't move.
What was the one song that you loved playing the most?
There's so many. We played Neil Young. We played.
That's interesting.
I think it was. I had gotten to the point where I could solo all the way through Comfortably Numb, and that was my favorite from a skill perspective.
Pink Floyd. You guys played Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, we covered a pretty broad swath because each of the guys liked his own bits of music. Yeah. So
you ever played in a club or a bar?
No, never. But that gets to my point of if I'm so worried about precision, I cannot possibly go and inflict this on people that might be paying or that might be paying the bar to drink. You know, you don't want to drive them away.
So,
but it's self perspective, and a lot of people are their own worst critics, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's the way I always looked at it.
They won't like this.
Do you guys ever get back together?
Not since I've moved to Michigan. I've met with the guys a couple times, but never in a band context. So several of them kind of go off on their own, and they're working on their own music at their home studios. But we haven't even rolled back into say, let's do this remote. Let's get on an MP3. You know, I'll cut something and send you the MP3, and you play along with it, and then we'll get together live. We just never got to it.
We can ask Tom to book you.
Huh?
Yeah, whatever stop you from guys from actually doing something like live in front of
I think there's a
people.
comfort level because we're all such old friends. We just enjoyed each other's company to the, hey, this is great. Let's do this again next week. But never in the context, hey, you guys want to pack up? I think I can get a gig. And they'd look like,
you think that was scary? You may have been really nervous, probably, right?
Then it'd be like, where's the exit? Let's get out before they start throwing things.
Oh, it can't be that bad.
Remember where it is, though.
All you got to do is
here.
buy us pizza and beer. It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll give them pizza and beer.
Yeah, pizza and beer.
That's why I said feed my guests enough food and drink and
enjoy.
Get to the point where they enjoy or didn't care. So
right.
That's
So where did you get your musical inclination from?
Again, I always listened to it. Fortunately, my family would always give us gifts of music. Or here are tickets. We're going to go to the Chicago Symphony. Or we're going to go see this. Or we're going to go do that. My dad was a fan of several jazz bands. He liked Maynard Ferguson, if you've ever heard his stuff. And one of the local high schools had that. He was playing the high school circuit, so he had kind of fallen off, and then he was coming back into it again. And we got to go see him. It was like, this is amazing stuff. So all the way through being a kid to being a teenager, it was always, and at my vintage, with the first sight of MTV, that was a whole different world.
Oh, I could imagine.
Because you didn't see anything like that unless you went to see bands live.
Yeah.
I wish MTV was still like that, though. I wish we had something out there like that.
We did, and it went to the point where it met the ceiling where it would go no further than that.
Reality TV kicked in, and then everybody likes reality TV better. So.
And then it died. It was a dive.
Yeah.
After that, I think after the 90s went through, and you get to the 2000s, all the music videos kind of died off with it.
I can see that. Yeah, I can go with that.
It was kind of odd because you ran into more of the rap vintage and the reality vintage. And I guess people, to cop a lyric, people are strange. And what I've noticed is once people are exposed to something, they're looking for the next bigger, badder.
Right.
And they don't necessarily go back to re-enjoy what they've had. Some people do. I can look through the entire history of everything I loved, and I still love it. But there's a whole segment. It's like, been there, done that.
Right.
What do you got for me now?
Exactly.
And then nobody cycles back to the very beginning to go,
how they came to love a certain thing. Right.
But it's also a strange thing in modern times because you've got the infamous WAP tune. And if you look at that tune, I think there were 8 people that claimed lyrical and songwriting credit for that.
And that's a big problem right there. A lot of ghostwriting, people that that don't do their own work for
and
themselves.
Then my brain goes all the way backwards to this dude called Beethoven.
Yeah.
Who sat down and wrote, 20 symphony pieces by himself, thinking sideways and all these different instruments and just writing it down. Here, play.
God, how old are you?
What?
No, he's
60.
He's well informed. That's all it is. Does his homework, man. I appreciate that.
And I still listen to it.
Yeah.
So on my iPod, I plug it into the truck and hey, Siri, Beethoven. Here's the Egmont Overture.
Yeah.
Actually, that's what I listen to. That's what I really listen to more when I bowl
Mhm.
and I'm having a bad time. I just put on symphony music or just like an Irish funk music where it's just all instruments.
Yeah, all instruments.
It soothes me down. It keeps me in a mellow tone, and it just like I can meditate to it.
Absolutely.
Just sit there and just am at okay. Now I'm relaxed.
And to
my
that
mind
point,
refocuses.
To that point, I felt a difference between sitting, listening to Beethoven and then kicking on, the Black Album by Metallica.
Yeah.
Over one stream.
Oh, wait a second.
There's different places for different
Absolutely.
times for those type of music.
The one album they hated.
Is that the one you hated the most?
No, that's one album they
hated.
They hated it? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
That's the one that made them the most money.
And they did not like it.
No. Because they consider themselves, when that album came out, they sold out because they weren't the heaviest metal band out there. They made this Black Album and they hated it because they thought they sold out. Then their fans thought they sold out.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of did, to a degree, right?
Yeah.
Well, and then the problem was they made a ton of cash. And then they got on part of that committee to blast people for free downloads. You go,
Lars did.
Wait
it was more
second.
Lars. It was more the drummer. Yeah.
Didn't you make a ton of money already? No, you wanted more.
Yeah.
Oh, you did sell out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lars was one of the biggest persons for not having people download songs anymore for free. I should say, like that.
Yeah.
Well, now you got to pay all the money.
99 cents.
Yeah.
They had to charge something.
Yeah.
They have to charge something.
They had to charge something.
Things of that nature.
Yeah.
Like your YouTube music or whatever the case may be.
I still find free music no matter what. I still have free music on my phone right now.
I do. I've always made it a policy. If I like something, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
But I always buy the medium.
Yeah.
I buy the CD and I'll rip the CD. Now I've bought the music, and now like some of these streaming companies that have gone away and have taken away your rights to listen to music, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So I always go back to trying to get the hard listening material and ripping it in some way. And I can always rip to an MP3, and then I don't have to worry about it going away.
Has music downplayed itself over the years? From the earliest times that you remember music and until now?
The weirdest thing has been the publishing companies and what they've done. And they're the ultimate pickers of winners and losers.
Right.
And as long as they're making a ton of money, you're okay.
Exactly.
And, in some of the stories, Rush was one of my favorites, and they gave the story. It's like they were on death's door, with one of their albums because stuff wasn't selling. And the company said, well, you guys should be more like Bad Company, or you need to be more like this. They said, screw you, we're going to write this. And that was 2112.
Yeah.
Takes off like a rocket, and they're back in breathing.
Isn't that the same album with Tom Sawyer?
No, that's Moving Pictures. That's several generations later.
Yeah.
But 2112 was a big album in the 70s. And they really skyrocketed from that. And then people started to go, oh, I wonder what they're doing next.
So I actually am, for how old you are, because yes, you are 60.
60.
That's not old, dude.
I know it's not, but for how old you are and you love music as we all know it, what was your first concert?
What was?
Yeah.
The first big concert I went to was Rush Moving Pictures.
You saw Rush for your first concert?
Yeah.
Impressive. Actually, how old were you?
14, 15.
You saw Rush at 14?
Yeah.
I shouldn't say much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, so
I know.
I'm a big hypocrite.
I know. I'm not a hypocrite.
So,
I think I shouldn't really say anything.
So when I was younger than that, though, that's where my parents took me to go see Chicago Symphony. I got to see Maynard Ferguson. I got to see some of these other things under their guidance.
Right.
Guidance, right? So then as a young kid, you get smoked out at the time.
With the original drummer?
Oh, No. So Moving Pictures was Neil Peart.
Yeah.
John Rutsey was the original. That was on the first Rush album called Rush.
Okay.
And that was where he pretty much ended.
Yeah. I didn't know where he ended his life at and everything else from the first. Oh, I didn't know it was the first or the first couple. I didn't know when he.
Yeah, and because I didn't get back all the way into their backlog, which I should have. There are some other tunes and some other albums, but it's kind of like the point where I started, and then I listened to them all the way going forward.
Yeah,
and I need to get back into the older albums to see what happened. And there's some great interviews with the guys, and they explain what happened with John Rutsey and why they did what they did. And he lived a bunch of years more, but he wasn't a well man.
Did you go to the Rush because of your parents took you because they wanted to take you?
No, so Rush was with friends from high school.
Okay, so you wanted to go to
yes.
Yeah.
And I think that was Moving Pictures was the first album I bought.
Yeah, that's kind of
cool. My mom didn't have a lot of money. I was raised by a single parent, and she bought a record player, and I had heard on radio one of these tunes, and I found the album. It's like, let's get this album.
Yeah.
And it was kind of weird because we went to the record store, and it's like, let's listen to this and this and this. And she was like, yeah, okay.
Like most parents.
Right. But then in the same token, we've got Steely Dan Asia. So talk about a left turn in style. So here I am.
It's a totally different twist.
Rush is doing this, but the complexity of Steely Dan is doing that. They're both fascinating.
I can't say that about my parents. My parents were more like Rush, Alex Cooper, Aerosmith, Def Leppard, not Def Leppard, actually, Beatles, and everything else in the line of that. And then when I love music, I'm more older. I'm more Al Green, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder. I mean, Jackson 5. I'm more older than they are. But I love that type of music because I love the beat of the music more than that heavy, more metal that they wanted me to go to, I'm guessing, in my life. But they raised me on the Beatles, so I like the Beatles generation and all the stuff that went around the Beatles generation more, and that's what it was. I mean, I'm on an older culture type of music on that one.
And I was even slightly older than that, because the discography of my grandparents was all 78s. So they had the old record player with the 10-penny nail.
Dude, I love that. I still own one of those, actually.
And we spun up the 78s. And so now I'm exposed to Bing Crosby and Big Band and all this stuff, where the whole album is like a 3-minute song.
Yep. But you got like a lot on that record too, though.
Yep.
Yeah. I have old 45s too.
And they had stacks and stacks. So we just go through these things, and it was just amazing stuff.
Oh, that's amazing.
So
that right there alone, just being able to go to your grandparents' stuff or your parents' stuff, it shows the difference between different genres and different time periods as far as it goes to music. As from the 78s to the 45s to 8 tracks to tapes to CDs and things, and then now to just being able to download things online.
Right. Although people have made the left turn again, and albums are available theoretically for audio files. I
still have albums. I have a record player at home myself. I have maybe 30 albums. Different genres, variations are still up in the air. I can tell you. But I found this the yard sale, which had tons of records, old albums in there. And I took it upon myself to buy a lot of them because they were cheap. And I was surprised to find some of these albums that I found, was a Pink Floyd album, really cheap.
Which one?
I forget the name of it off the top of my head. I was just buying the albums off the top of my head, just so I have them in my.
I'm just the reason I'm saying that because a lot of albums like theirs are worth more if you find the right one.
Right. I of course. But this is right here is just like these albums are like maybe a couple of dollars a album, and I bought like 30 of them.
Yeah.
So, which was a good value for the
give me $50 worth and you get a stack.
They had some what was it? Stevie Nicks band,
Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac had a lot of those albums and all kinds of different stuff that I found that I'd never listened to. And I finally listened to them over time, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. What?
I'm just listening.
You just like you.
I'm thinking actually.
What are you thinking? Say it out loud. Get off your chest.
No, I'm okay.
No, you can say you're thinking now.
No, I'm thinking of other questions I could.
Go ahead. Throw the questions out.
So, of all the records that you own, which one is your favorite?
My Enough Doom album.
What?
You don't know who he is. Well, it's my favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
The rapper, and he has an album.
Yeah, he has tons of albums. He was underground. He was an underground rapper. Okay. And when he wasn't underground before, he came out in the 90s. Then he had some fate hit him when his brother died. So he stopped rapping, and he knew how the industry was at that point in time. They weren't given the proper due diligence for all rappers, and the contract was shitty and things of that nature, right? So at this point in time, he was one of those what we call conscious rappers, like say for instance say for instance Queen Latifah, right?
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, she was very pro-black and getting black people to do what's right, whatnot, so on and so forth. He was one of those. His brother died, and I think it was a car accident. Not even somebody hit him with a car, right? Died. So, with that being said, he went to the point where he was depressed and things of that nature. Got out of the industry. So, maybe a decade later, he went back into the industry. He conjured up a new appearance, so to speak. He got this old Spartans mask. They had transformed to a mask that.
Do you have that on? Oh no, you don't.
What? So, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but it was more of a new persona for himself to reintroduce himself.
Yeah, he remade
himself, and this was all like out of anger for the industry, more or less. And what he did a lot of underground music, and people gravitated towards it. And he would just do certain things, like he loved comic books, right? And this is where he got his name from. Dr. Doom, the Marvel comic books, used MF Doom, and MF, it was either Metal Face, Metal Fingers. Metal Fingers was when he was producing music, and Metal Face when he was actually on the album.
Okay.
So he had different personas for himself, and he went underground. And sometimes he wouldn't even show up; he would send somebody else in the same mask to his concerts to do a song.
How'd you find him?
Oh, dude, it's just the funny thing. I found him just like I've heard of him before and never knew it was him. And maybe in 2016 is when I actually started listening to more of his albums, because I would like play video games and they would have his songs on there, and I never knew who he was. And then when I found, I was like, oh damn, he was on this video game. He was on this video game. He was on this video game, and I started looking him up. This guy has shitloads of music, but it's all underground, and he has maybe like 12 different albums that he's produced and made for himself. Then he died in 2020 during COVID. Yeah, that's what I was leading up to. But yeah, he became one of my favorite artists because his lyrics are so I don't know, ahead of their time, that you have to listen to them over and over again because there's so many different meanings behind it. And it was great.
So yeah, and I never jumped into that genre at all.
Yeah.
And I had gone this route of progressive, which that kind of skirts everything normal. It's out left field completely. But from an outward perspective, it seems there was a huge amount of infighting or battling And what's the root cause behind that? Is it industry? Is it stuff
More
they
or
were
less
involved in
more or
outside?
less industry. Because industry, but if you go back and think about, say for instance,
how far back you gotta go
to when we transferred over to the 90s.
Okay, I was gonna say that. Yeah, I can go with that.
Conscious music was in the 80s, and nobody really picked up. A certain amount of people picked up on it.
Public Enemy.
Who else? De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, KRS-One. All these different
in the East Coast half.
On the East Coast.
Yeah.
I mean, we had some West Coast groups like that too.
No, but that's why the whole battling of East Coast, West Coast.
That's not why. No, that's not why.
That's where it started.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
That's why.
No, it's not. No,
that was a story, baby.
That's not what happened though. The conscious rap movement was like thrown and brushed under the rug, more or less. Because think about it, you don't want to hear being. You had gangster rap came out. So we had this conscious rap, gangster rap. What sold more? People going to listen to people telling you not to fight, not to do all this stuff,
right.
Call your women whores and bitches and stuff like that. But conscious rap was gaining. Gangster rap was gaining so much momentum that sold more money. It got more money.
Yeah.
So of course the record labels were like
Cash is king.
Cash is king. So gravitated that and sweep conscious rap under the rug, and not only that, this is where your Bill Clintons come in with the 3 strikes rule, right? So you got gangster rap, right? Selling drugs, calling women whores and bitches and all this stuff right here. So you create the prisons and stuff like that in the 90s and put these people that follow gangster rap into these prisons.
Put them away.
It's all money. It's all money. And that's where the downfall of rap began. Because rap was collectively more of a movement for Black people to get themselves out of the situation. But it put us right.
Too many back into it.
Put it right back into it. The bad situation that we're in already.
Ugh.
And it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing. This is why gangster rap is so prevalent. And you hear all this bullshit that you hear now on the radios because people buy into it. You got not only the black kids fall into it. You got white kids, all kids of all races and ethnic backgrounds across the whole world that listen to it. And it's becoming to a point where it's overlooked as a threat to young kids.
But it's still dangerous though.
It's very dangerous, and it still sells.
Yeah. And it's odd because I look back at some of that and I look across and it's almost like a meme. It's all the kids with the drawers down. It's there's prison context behind that.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
going, it is very, very much so.
And all my old man goes, my old man brain goes, what the hell's wrong with you?
Exactly.
Straighten up and
same here. Same here. I mean, the whole context of people wearing the pants, the underwear showing goes back to prison. Goes to show that they're available.
Yes, and I wouldn't want to be that guy.
In a man's prison, they're available.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
What, you all right over there, Joe? But this is what's come down to as far as the downfall of hip hop, and it had a very positive message, and I hate that as a Black man, the music I listened to when I was growing up has evolved into this, and then it's thrown up all the whole. It's like a black eye to the Black race. Black eye to the Black race, but we still love it and we still dance to it.
Right.
And these women are doing all this stuff. It's a stain on our race.
Right. But you're the thinking guy. So you enjoy it in its own context.
Yeah.
But you don't want to live it.
Some of it I don't like.
Right.
Some of it I don't even like. Right. It's just like stupid garbage that's coming out of their mouths.
Yeah, I was thinking back to, some of the tunes I did like, early Public Enemy. And there were a few things and I kind of just quickly transitioned through it. I didn't go back and listen to it, but there were some tunes that were cool. Some of the stuff Ice-T did was kind of cool in its own right. but I never really got into the whole context.
Oh man, it got dark and it was worse. I mean, Joe used to listen to a lot of hip hop back in the day. It got worse as the years went on, the decades went on, and it's even worse now that the women portray themselves as such, but don't want to be victimized.
Right.
It's a double-edged sword, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really scary.
You've actually blown up your own case.
Exactly.
Is what's happening.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So unfortunate.
And a lot of young girls are following this stuff.
And again, the old man in me is
following
going,
this stuff.
What the hell's wrong?
Same here.
Right?
Same here. Luckily, I mean, I actually caught on to it a long time ago. I'm like, all right, maybe I should teach my kids not to do this certain stuff right here, not to follow certain things. So, I mean, it's an uphill battle.
And the rough part is, again, you being a voice of reason. There are many people don't want to follow a voice of reason at any cost.
No.
They're still rebelling and whatever they're rebelling.
Yeah.
But they're going to be really sorry in about 15 or 20 years when they cross that boundary and go, man, why didn't I listen at the time?
Exactly. But at the same time, we all have our free will,
right,
to do whatever we want. And as long as we have that, we don't hold ourselves accountable for anything.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the dark part of it.
There's a whole shift to religion and everything else as it relates to free will. And we've all been given guidelines. If you kind of live to these guidelines, you may not fall into all this.
Right.
And we kind of threw all that away and said, hey, I'm number one.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, we had a lot of help doing it.
Yes.
And you got your TV shows, your commercials, the things that they do it, money.
And again, it's all for that.
Yeah. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. It's crazy. We're devolving
bottom line
willingly with all this nonsense.
What do you think, Joe? I was even looking at me the whole time.
I was just listening because no offense, I love when you get on your high pedestal and your beliefs.
That's not a high pedestal.
I mean, you in your beliefs and you do back up your stories with when you look stuff up. You do, and most of it is mostly true. And I just kick back and listen to you.
Because you have a point on
my opinion on all of that, though, music's music. I mean, everybody does it for a reason. Everybody does it for something. If it's not a cause, it's not an effect. It's something to rile somebody up. It doesn't matter. Music's music. It's love, respect, cherish, you name it. Everybody's going to listen to something that might be wrong for them to listen to, or right for them to listen to, or anything out there. Someone's going to buy it, someone's going to listen to it, and then someone else is going to hear that you're listening to that, and then it's always going to be a conflict in someone's eyes. But it all comes down to one thing: they sold it, someone bought it, and it all comes back down to one thing you always just said: money. Money is rule of all evil. Money is going to make the music business still go around and get that gold record or that platinum record on the wall. It doesn't matter. We can talk about.
So you saying which is like give up?
Not give up. It's just gonna happen no matter what. Music's music.
Or just like stop fighting.
Yeah, there's no reason to
fight.
Yeah, there's no reason to fight over anything.
Well, there's an interesting
fight over money, because money is the rule of all evil. So fight over that. Not fight over music.
There's an interesting kind of a corollary. So you said, people are just buying into it.
Yeah.
The problem individuals are the ones that are buying into it. Not that they bought the idea or they bought the album. They're buying into the concept. So I'm thinking, right. I've jumped around and I've danced when you hear the, let the bodies hit the floor. But there's some guy that's thinking that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah,
he bought into it. It's not necessarily.
I don't blame music. I don't blame video games. I don't blame anything for all these things that are bad happening in the world. from music, TV, or video games.
Right.
It's how you were fucking raised in their life and how the parents raised them or what background they came from. It's that. It's not what they came from or what they're watching or what they're listening to.
Well,
it doesn't matter on that.
I think if you had a negative upbringing, you might be more prone to buying into. If you're raised by two parents, and this is me talking.
Go ahead.
As the oldest of a single parent. So my mom had worked nights. I was expected to cook dinner for my brother and sister and clean the house and do a whole bunch of stuff. That's kind of rough when you're 10. So my life could have gone completely sideways. And I had some problems in junior high and I ran into some issues. And then, again, grandparents, and when the family's together, just kept encouraging, you got to go to college. You got to go. You got to go. So I concentrated all my efforts, got good grades, had AP, went into college, found a career. But I realized I was looking back at specific moments when I was young and everything could have gone horribly sideways.
Yeah.
If I'd have made one decision to the other side, who knows where I'd be. And it wouldn't be where I am now.
I can relate to what you just said about being the eldest of a single parent. You had to do certain things while that parent was gone, right? And I did the same thing. I was at 12 years old. I was at a different age, 2 years older than you. But when I started doing it, but I understand that responsibility that you have when a parent lays this all on you, and you have to do this, cook, make sure that they're not getting in trouble. The house is clean, blah, blah, the whole 9 yards. Totally understand that. Now, I want to get back to you when you said something about parents being in the house. You had both of your parents, right?
Yes and no. Yeah.
Yeah, both of your
parents. I have both my parents still. Yeah.
Keep it at that, though. Both of us, we both had single parent households. When you have a single parent household, you're more likely to get in more trouble.
I'll let you go with this.
With that being said, you're more likely to get in trouble and getting more things without that two parent household concept.
I'll go with your theory. That is right. I'll go with that theory. Yes, that could be about 50% accurate. Yes, you can't. There's no. I'll just go 50-50 because it's right or wrong. My thing is, in my case, I had both my parents. Yes. But they both worked their asses off. So I was never around my parents.
Right.
I was around my grandparents. Mm-hmm. My grandparents raised who I am.
Yeah.
My grandparents from my mom's side is who I was raised after. And that's my true parents. I'm in my eyes all the time.
Okay. I can
because I was at their house pretty much. My mom, I'll admit it. My mom was 17 when she had me.
Same here.
So we're 17 years apart. So me and my mom are like pretty much now like best friends. She can tell me anything, I tell her anything. Well, she doesn't like hearing half the stuff I've done, but sorry, you weren't around, then I'm telling you. But my dad still is 4 years older than my mom. Either way, they're both young. They got married when they're 16. My mom was 16 when she got married, 17 when she had me. They got married in October, had me in February. So yeah, they're growing up with me at the same time. The people that was pretty much the father and mother figure was my grandparents, because my parents still wanted to do stuff because they're in their 20s, they're in their 30s at the same time when they're wanting to be like rock stars and go out and see concerts and do shit. Where was I? Halfway through my life, I was always with my grandparents. So yes and no. Who I was and who I became is because of my family that raised me, yes, and put me in the spotlight of this is how we want you to be. Like you're saying, people are pushing you to do this, do that. You need to go to college. Same aspect. Yeah. But I choose the way I did. And then I was going to say on yours was, yes, you picked your path. You picked your path, but you picked the right path. But most people don't choose right or wrong path because, no offense, nobody is God, Jesus, Buddha, whatever you believe in. You can't predict your future at all. It doesn't
Correct.
matter what your line is. You
Correct.
can't, you're not focused on this is my path, this is what I'm gonna do.
Some people do.
Well, you can't. No one
Some people do though.
well, yeah, but some people believe that they can choose their path. You don't. You make a decision every day. You make your decision by what you're gonna put on. What road am I gonna take to work? You're making that decision. You could take the wrong road that one day, and you can hit something, or you can get hit, or something in that atmosphere. You can't predict your life.
You might say you can predict your life, but you can predict the choices that you make in life.
Well, you choose that. You choose at that moment.
You have that choice to pick the right choices, whether it's good or bad.
But you're picking that right
at that
moment.
choice.
At that
Yeah,
moment.
exactly.
And
it may dictate whether you're
right or wrong.
Right or wrong.
Yeah, but I don't have any regret, any remorse for anything in my life I've ever done. Anything, nothing. Because now I picked the wrong thing at one moment. I'm rebuilding myself to do the right thing, and the next time I come down that path.
The issue with regret is you're always looking backwards and not owning and building a better path forward. Yeah, yeah. And I've known a lot of people that live in regret, and they have no means to.
You've regretted some stuff in your life. Don't tell me you haven't.
Oh, I regret.
So don't say I don't regret anything in my life.
I don't regret anything in my life anymore.
Well, you have.
I regretted some of the stuff I had done. Yes, but I don't regret anything in my life anymore.
Okay.
I have a clean
let the
soul.
past be the past. All right.
Past is the past. After my grandfather passed away, the one thing that he always taught me, the one thing that always stuck in my mind, have no remorse, respect yourself, and don't have any stress, and just live your life to the fullest every day. The new day is a new day every day. Don't regret anything that you do.
A lot of people take a lot of years to learn that.
Exactly.
And I think back to, back when I was young and much less than perfect, many times less than perfect. Okay. And some of the stuff that I did, I think back and go, yeah, I wish I wouldn't have done that, but it doesn't do anything for me.
I sit back and look at me. I just go over my life, things I've done. I'm like, man, I wish I would have never done that. I wish I never treated that person that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? I regret some things. I do regret things.
I've become kind of a karma guy.
Same here.
If I've mistreated somebody,
it's going to come back on you.
I've gotten mistreated, but now I'm thinking about it and going, I actually deserve that every bit.
Exactly.
Because of what I've done.
Right.
That happened to me I've been doing that ever since probably, I would say the last 10 years. I regretted everything I'd done in my past to somebody, against somebody.
Once again, don't say you don't regret anything.
No, but I didn't say I don't regret it. I never regretted anything. When I say I don't regret anything now, I know what I've done in my past. I reflected on it.
It is boo button.
No, I reflect on everything now. I looked at it now, what you just said, like karma. Karma is like 5 different things. I live like the golden rule pretty much for me. But what comes around goes around tenfold. I'm looking at my life now and thinking like what you just said. The one thing I do regret on people is that one kid that I see every damn time, and I see him, and I always think, I got that guy fucked up. I got that guy to where he's at right now. I'm the reason why he's the reason he is. When he was a minor, he was at my house drinking and having a good time. We had all these parties. We played a game. All of us, we played this drinking game, and he wanted to do it. And we said, go ahead, man up. Come on, man. So we played a game, drink to the lines. So every time we had a shot, we had a lines on the shot glass, and we made it all the way to the top. But he wanted to try it, and then got alcohol poisoning in my house. And I took care of him for 2 days. And now he's an alcoholic. And do I blame myself for that? A little bit, but that's his path that he chose and go and keep on going.
Correct.
So I don't blame myself totally, but do I blame myself a little? Yes, because he was so young when he did it.
Yeah, it's still his freedom of choice in the long run. But it's where I think back in the past where I've just been verbally angry with somebody,
Yeah.
or, and not necessarily let them down a path, but put them down, denigrated them, and you can tell they left feeling bad. And being human, you look at that and go, hey, now I feel pretty good because I made him feel like crap.
But to go
and then to have something like that come around where you're treated like crap, as opposed to setting a lifestyle, right?
Yeah. I understand where you're going with that, but the lifestyle that I'm doing, I'm like 10 folds going backwards, because when I did get my DUI, I went, damn, if I had that DUI, I know that's what I always say. So when I walk to work in the winter, I say it's my penance. It's my fucking penance that I'm doing, and I'm walking and I know what I did wrong and I'm now doing it. I do. Yeah. So every time even in my
don't drive, Joe.
I know I can't. Fuck off. So
see you later.
I can still catch up to you. My scooter goes 70.
No, I'm not talking about now. I mean, now I'm talking about then. Don't drive, Joe.
I'm good. To ride later, Joe.
See you later.
I got my scooter out there. You're gonna walk past it. So, but yeah, with everything out there in my life that I've done bad, it's coming tenfolds to me for the last 10 years, and I reflect it, regret it, but then I lost it because I feel better as a person. So that's why I can say I have no regrets in my life, because I already faced them all and I feel better about who I am. A lot of people don't see it, or they still think I'm still the same person. We had this conversation earlier at work. And so with all the people I've done wrong too, it does come tenfolds. It does. And the reason, to go back on the question we had earlier, or we were talking earlier, I'll admit this, with all the relationships I ever had in my life, I've done some shady shit way back before I got married and everything else. Now it's coming tenfolds to me, and it's now treating me who I am now.
Right. But you're taking it for what it is.
Yeah.
You're not looking backwards.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
And you're proceeding forward.
Yep, I am. I'm now looking forward, but it's with everything that's happened to me in the last 4 years. I would say 4, because I'm going on my 4th year now. The last 4 years sucks because it's like, oh my God, it's all hitting me at one shot though. But I'm now trying to step up and get out of it. But with one thing happened to another, it's hard, but I'm not getting totally depressed about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now trying to step up and being a better person, but it's hard. It is. It's a hard battle, but I'm being the best person I can.
I think the good thing is when you realize it's happening to you, and if you ingrain it as a lesson, and the next opportunity you have and you're dealing with somebody where you could be the negative, but you turn and be the positive, you feel all that come off.
I think that's why I like helping people at my job. I mean, one reason I do stay there is when someone comes into my work and saying, you helped me out on this project, it's still working for the last year and a half. I'm happy. I'm still happy that you helped me with that. It makes me feel good about myself.
Yes.
It makes me feel that, oh my God, the idea that I had in my head, I helped them.
Yes.
That's the reason why I'm still there. Or the people that say, I only come to you when I need help. Thank you. I'm glad.
That pays off time and time again.
It makes me feel better as a person. And it's always someone that I always tell them, you don't have to buy this here. No offense. You don't have to buy this here. Go to this place. It's a little bit cheaper. I'm going to save you money. I'm sorry. And people look at me and hear me that I work with. Why are you telling them not to buy it? I said, because I know where they're coming from. They're a low income, older lady, older person. They're on their own benefits. They need this help sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell them where they can buy it a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But they're going to come back knowing that I helped them, and they're going to buy something that they don't need, but they're going to buy it anyways because I helped them.
And you're not doing it in a malicious fashion.
No.
Which is perfect.
Go to that spot that you showed them and get more stuff that's cheaper.
Well, yeah, but half the time they always come back to see me and tell me that I did something that helped them out, but they had to buy something from a store.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, and they're always going to buy something from a store, because if you tell somebody that you help them with, it tenfold is always going to come back to you.
So you're putting out good things.
good things make me feel better. It helps somebody. That's why I always tell you. I'm sorry. I find these less puppy dogs that I love to save and help. But it makes me feel better. But it makes me feel better about myself.
By yourself.
And it helps.
You should be doing it for them.
I am going to try it for them.
See, that's where you get it wrong. You should be doing it for them, not for yourself.
Well, it's both.
No. Leave yourself out of it. If you're going to do something nice to a person, do it for that person, not just to make you feel better about yourself.
That's the side benefit.
That's the side benefit. Yeah. So don't bring that into.
Well, I'm an only child. I put myself first sometimes.
Of course.
But it sounds like intrinsically you just do the right thing.
Yeah, but you just don't bring yourself basically.
I say it differently.
Yeah, you shouldn't say that.
It makes me look bad, but
it gives you just like a jaded look. You know what I mean? Like
it does.
Right.
I'm only doing this because I want to make myself feel better.
Oh no, I like help. I physically, truly love helping people.
Well, just do it for them.
I do. I really.
Yeah, and say it differently too. Don't say it like that.
I know. I truly do love helping people.
I'm gonna give you that horn, that boob. It's right here, ready.
I know you are. I know you're ready.
Fortunately, we saw right through you. So yes, we understand what you're saying.
But with everything that happened in everybody's lives, I can't predict the future. I tell people sometimes.
No one can.
I tell people sometimes when they tell me, "Well, this might happen in the future. What happens if this happens?" I said,
You can try to prepare yourself for things that happen in the future, but
I tell them this, but I'm a smartass when it comes to this. I said, "Are you fucking God?"
You can always try to prevent.
You can't predict what's going to happen in anybody's life.
But you can try to prevent things to help from happening or lessen the blow.
But nobody can predict anything.
Nobody's trying to, but to lessen the blow that's going to help you out in the long run. Yes, you can do that.
All right, you ready for the segue to the weird?
Yes.
Have you guys had deja vu?
Yes. All the time.
I used to have it all the time too.
I'm having it today right now, actually, right in this fucking moment, actually.
And as a
5
kid,
months ago, I had this fucking same conversation.
As a kid, it used to scare me. I didn't like it because I knew what was going to come up next.
Yeah.
And I was in the middle of a deja vu talking to my mom. And I knew where I was, and I said something completely different. And she was floored. She didn't know what to say next.
Oh, really?
I have not had deja vu since then.
Since then? Really?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was a very strange, kind of an odd, sobering thing. But now I feel like, hey, I'm the random pinball.
Yeah. It's been a while since I had deja vu.
It was weird.
I get it all the time at work or like this podcast right now. I'm having deja vu because I'm having the same conversation I had.
What was that conversation?
Like 5 months ago. I'll say 5 to 10 months ago, maybe.
Earlier this year, then.
Yeah, where I'm having the same conversation. I can't see the people's faces. I saw yours, but I can't see the person we're talking to because I'm around you all the time. So I can't see the person we're talking to, but we're in this room having this conversation and we're all doing this at the same time. But then my deja vu only does so much, like good 10 minutes. So it always ends weird where I find stuff out or shit happens. So I know that part's not going to be true ever, but
yeah, it's weird because while it was scary, it gave me an indication I was in the right groove, if you will.
Yeah.
It's like, putting a needle in a record, you can kind of hear the next track type of thing. And like I said, since then, it's been, hey, everything's completely random. I have no idea what's going to happen next.
But I think it's always good to have no stress and actually, I have no stress in my life at all. I really don't like to stress over no
whatsoever.
Well, I really don't stress over a lot of deep, heavy shit. I get pissed off about stuff, and then I said, "Oh, I fucking whatever."
That's the cousin of stress. Anger, cousin stress.
I don't have a lot of anger. I get frustrated. It's different than anger.
Not a cousin anger.
Yeah, it causes it, but after 5-6 minutes, after I get it off my chest, I'm fine.
No stress at all.
I don't stress over anything.
None whatsoever.
If I lost my job tomorrow, I wouldn't care. If I lost my house, I wouldn't care. If I do anything,
if you lost your house, you would.
No.
Stop it.
No, I wouldn't.
Stop it.
The only thing I would probably stress
Stop
about, no, I wouldn't care if I lost the house. I wouldn't. The only thing I would probably be stressed and depressed and everything else would be if my daughter, something happens to her at school or anything with my daughter. That's the only thing I'll be stressed and worried about.
You wouldn't be
Nothing
stressed
else.
about losing your place.
No,
Out of the blue. There's nothing, no explanation why you lost it.
nope, not
Like
one.
a fire.
Oh, dude, no, not at all. Really. If I lost my dog, but I would be grieving
Oh,
over
so
that.
there's
No, I'll be
in your house.
I'll be grieving over that, but then I would just say
Losing your stuff.
no. It's
You
still
had the
stuff.
same underwear on that you had on today.
Actually, sorry,
Through next Thursday.
Through next Thursday, yeah.
sorry, no. You asked.
Get the Amazon chopper to fly in a new pair.
Yeah.
They'll be here
I
tomorrow.
Lost everything.
I wouldn't care. Not one damn bit. It's just items. I have my health. I have my respect for
What
myself.
about your scooter?
I wouldn't care.
You have to walk here.
I walk everywhere now. Nothing bothers me. It really doesn't bother me. It's just items and stuff.
You I would call bullshit on that. I think you would care.
No,
I think you'd be stressed out like a motherfucker.
no. If I lost my parents, I probably might be a little bit stressed out about that because I'll be sad. But
No,
that's grief.
A little,
But that's grief.
that's a part of stress too.
But that's grief. I mean grief. I would grieve over my family passing
okay.
away
All right.
or something having my
Fair
daughter.
enough. Fair enough.
Anything else is items. I could rip this shirt up right now. I would not
If
care.
I lost my place, and I'll be stressed.
I wouldn't.
I'll be stressed.
Homeless people live a great life. They
No,
they can't eat, but they're happy. If you go to Hawaii, what I
we're
saw.
not talking about. We're not talking about Hawaii.
I mean, if
That's
you go
nice
past the
tropical
Mississippi,
weather.
if you go past the Mississippi, a lot of them are happy because they're in the only thing they need is just get some money here and there, but they still get money from people.
No,
I gave a homeless guy down in St. Joe just on Saturday $2.
you sure he was homeless? Did you?
He owns 10 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
The funny thing is,
Did
he was
you
holding up a
jump in a
sign.
Lexus after you got that money from
This
you?
was the first time I seen a sign in St. Joe. I need money to eat. I'm homeless, and it was weird. And I didn't care. I gave him $2.
Those guys make lots of money off of people.
But I really don't care.
I'm just saying, let's get off of that. All right, guys, we're at the top of the hour. Third Eye Truth Era podcast, episode 104. 104. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Is it Twitter?
Twitch.
No, Twitch. Yeah, no,
Twitter.
X.
Twitter.
Twitch.
It's still Twitter.
I call it Twitter too. Anyway.
Uh,
Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, hit the
notification.
notification button. When we put out new information, you get the ding ding. That sound weird?
Yeah, that sounds.
You get a notification, guys. Anyway, I am James Kill, your host. This is Joe Hill, co-host, and our guest tonight, Ron. Big Ron. Yeah.
So, all right. So
episode 104.
104.
Neforas.
Not nefarious.
Oh,
In a past. Yeah.
That's his
The
band name.
so we really get to know
Forrest.
where'd you come from, who you are when we first
Yeah,
started.
we jumped right into the
Yeah, so you just jumped in and said I ran a band. I went, shit, I rolled with that.
The interesting thing with these stories is all of our lives are so broad. This is a conversation we could probably have 4 hours a week for the next 25 years and not see the bits and pieces. Now, I told you my parents had split. So, okay, kid of a single. My parents split when I was 7. And I lived south side of Chicago, 95th and Damon, right in Beverly. And that's part of the the stories of the Gen Xers. I went to school at 92nd and Hoyne. As a first grader, I had to walk, 4 blocks plus.
Yeah.
All the weather and blah, blah, blah. Okay, everyone's heard that. 10 miles uphill both ways.
Right.
Whatever. But my mom, whatever the circumstance of the divorce was, she was always trying to get away. Get away. So by 2nd grade, she moved us all to Florida. But we only stayed because the guy that she went with didn't want her around anymore, apparently.
Yeah.
We got to move back. Well, the house hadn't sold.
Oh,
So
so
I got to say goodbye to all my friends. And then I showed up at school again. They said, "What are you doing here? You moved away." Great. Here's the explanation, which is tough because I went to Catholic school and none of the other kids' parents are getting divorced. And have the teacher bring it to everyone's attention in the class.
No shit.
"Are your parents divorced?" Everyone perks up and looks at me. "Really? Your parents are okay, great." Here I am, 4th grade. Mom says, "No, got a scoot again." So then we moved to Arizona. I went to Arizona for 5th grade. Well, the only job she really liked was back in Chicago. So she was laid off when we moved. She got recalled. Hey, guess what? We got to move back to the Chicago area again. But this time the house had sold. So we ended up in this kind of skeezy suburb called Worth. And okay, I'm going to school in 6th grade now. And this is where I was in the neighborhood with all the local drug users. So this is where, in my decision-making process, this is where things could have gotten sideways. You know, you get in fights with kids, you get into all this nonsense. And, made it through to 8th grade, started at a high school, made it through freshman year and a couple of, 3-4 weeks of sophomore. Mom says, "Oh, tired of you, get out." So she threw us all out and sent us to live with my dad, who was in a different suburb. So I felt like a military kid. So it's like, okay, I got kindergarten, 1st and 2nd, 3rd was over here, 4th is here, 5th is over here, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th are here. Okay, I graduated from here. I'm still tight with those guys in a distance perspective. It's like the best friends you make in high school end up kind of being your best friends through life.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So here's all this noise. Now, again, the parents were all about college because none of them went, "There, go do this." But my love was drag racing. To my dad, he drag raced as a young guy.
What kind of drag race though?
He was a 1/4 mile guy. He used to race at US 30 drag strip.
Okay.
And he had a stock car. It was, a 14-second Chevy, which was a hot rod at the time. And he had his trophies, but hey, to him, if I was going to get involved in that, it's like running away to the circus.
Wait,
no, you are not going to run away to the circus.
My grandfather was how you're going back and forth with your parent. My grandfather actually raced cigarette cars, funny cars, for forever, and he got on a team that was called Smoking Joe's Racing Team. And so, I understand where you're coming.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
but because of my love of building things, what I really want to do was learn the trades and get into fabrication, metalwork, and building the cars, not just racing per se, but being part of it as a builder.
Yeah.
And no, that's running away to join the circus. You can't do that. So instead I had to go, and I was an engineering major in college.
Where'd you go to college?
U of I Chicago.
U of I Chicago.
So as part of that adventure, I got through high school. I got into my first computer programming classes in high school. Freshman year, I got into COBOL. So this is the oldest of the business languages. So I learned that. And then I got into basic programming junior, senior year. And 1 month out of high school, I was accepted at MIT. I was accepted at U of I Chicago. I was accepted all these schools. And then my dad buckles down and goes, "You ain't going anywhere until you earn it." "What do you mean?" "Get a job." Fantastic. So this whole time, you told me go to college, but
no,
I'm not being sent to college. Fantastic. Okay, I'll get a job. And 1 month out of high school, I found a job in a computer room, 3rd shift, downtown Chicago. Just like that.
Yeah.
So it was the strangest intro to a career I could have imagined. It's the old, you change the tapes. The backups are on tapes.
Yeah.
I'm running printouts and stuff in boxes. It was like one of those old movies. And you're throwing reports in boxes and roller skating around and, you know, delivering this and that. Okay, this is crazy. I wouldn't expect this. But that was the start of a now 42-year career in information technology. So that's the strangest aspect of continuity I've had all the way through this.
You never went to college?
No, I did go to college. So when I was working nights, I was going to school every day.
Yeah.
So most days I was awake 18 to 20 hours because between the commute, the town I lived in, it was an hour train downtown. I worked till 7 in the morning. I might have a class at 8. And then depending on how the day was broken up, the next class might be at 1. So I was trying to catch cat naps at school.
Right.
And I take the 1 o'clock class. Hey, next train isn't until 3. So I was getting back home at 4:30 to try and get to sleep by 5:30.
Yeah.
To wake up at 9:30 to get back on the train and do it again. So it was a very odd, busy time. And I did that for several years till they promoted me. So hard work, you get promoted, you're on days now and you're in a different department. So I moved out of operations and I moved into network support back in the very first days of networking.
Before you keep going on for that, so how did your dad feel? Because now you're in college. So when you got that job and everything else, was your dad proud of you, or since you got to go to college and everything else?
That's when the guilt came on.
Oh.
So I did it for several years. And he's like, if you quit now, I'll send you off to college to like, no, you told me I had to work my way through. Now I'm stubborn enough to go.
Yeah.
Right.
See?
Yeah. Okay.
See what you made me do? Before he passed, he ended up being very proud of what my brother and I have done.
That's awesome.
In our respective careers and everything. I couldn't ask for more than that. We spent a lot of years apart though because of certain infighting, and you know, I've got 2 siblings and there's infighting and okay, intrigue. Get the hell out of here. I'm not dealing with you people.
Okay.
But then it cycles back and things are okay. So, you know, we go through this bit and I'm still in the College of Engineering and got promoted to days, and I hit a dead end because none of the courses they offered were at night.
Oh, really?
That's the end of that major. So I couldn't continue in the major. There's a timing pipeline. We had to finish taking, okay, I had my chem and my physics and calculus and all this other BS, but when it came to the core classes, they were offered during the day. But as I was working all day.
That sounds.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, definitely.
I still ended up going to one of the junior colleges after that and transferred my time and, you know, took a bunch of business courses, which helped me grow in business, which was that ended up leading to, you know, supervisory management, all the programming I had to do to run, you know, make the systems function, and then guiding teams as best I could. Now, because I'm a do-it-yourselfer, I'm not necessarily a sympathetic person.
Right.
I don't manage via sympathy. Hey, get it done.
Exactly. Bottom line.
What do you need from me to help you do it? Okay, I've done that. Well, you done?
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, it's I'm not kinder and gentler enough. But again, like I said, this career, it's been 42 years now in different aspects. But I think because I got into this, and the strange thing about I've noticed about a lot of musicians, they all tend to be mathematicians.
Yeah.
There's just something kind of unique between it. So while I listened to all this music and I hit my major and I got my career, that's the musical side was its own bit. So because I didn't go away to college, the thing that was interesting is my buddies did. And they went to Illinois State University down in Bloomington, Normal, Illinois, which is, it's an hour and 15-hour, 20-minute drive. So I'd go down there on weekends, toting a guitar, toting a bass, whatever it is, and we get together and jam. These are the same guys.
Yeah.
Fast forward that we ended up playing at my house.
Okay.
So
Interesting though.
yeah, it's a very kind of a cool extension over time. And the weird thing is when you make good friends like that, you can not see them for 10 years. And then when you see them again, you pick up where you left off.
Exactly.
It's a very strange kind of thing.
I don't have that.
Where you can pick up right where you left off.
I don't have any of my friends from high school.
No,
None.
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 What the guy we had on?
I didn't go to high school with him. Oh, Ryan?
Yeah.
We were acquaintances. We were never in the same clique all the time.
Oh, okay. So you're not in the same group that you actually hung out with.
Yeah.
Okay.
I played sports with them all. I was always in sports with them all, but with what he's saying, you're the closest thing I had in high school.
I didn't go to high school with you.
I know, but when I was 16, I was in high school. All my friends were always older.
Yeah, I was graduated.
I know. All my friends were always older, or I was hanging out at bars at 14, 15, or I was doing some legal shit with a bunch of older people that I've always done.
Illegal or illegal?
Legal.
Oh, it's all good.
Go ahead, say it.
Illegal.
All right, there you go.
I'll admit it.
I'll call you out. Man.
I know.
There with that butt.
Right there.
I was doing a lot of yes, I was doing a lot of illegal shit when I was young. I never had any. All my tight friends after I stopped having parties at my house and doing all that shit.
When did you stop having parties at your house?
Well, when I graduated.
High school?
Yeah.
Ever since then, you never had a party after that?
No, I was DJing at bars. Why should I have an after party at my fucking house? Fuck that.
Sometimes you want to have fun.
I want to sleep. I just DJ till 2 a.m. Do you want to have an after party after we?
I never had. Well, I have before.
I know, but now would you?
After work, yeah, I always had a party.
I didn't want to.
It was fun.
I didn't.
Especially my younger years, dude. I had a blast.
I had it all through high school.
I coordinated great Halloween parties. People ask anybody about my Halloween parties.
I know, but you also had roommates, though.
Amazing.
But you had a roommate, though.
Yeah, still, it was amazing, though.
Yeah. See, my thing is, after I got done DJing, I wanted to go home and relax.
Now, hell no.
See, I'm vice versa.
My place is like the honeycomb hideout. You have to be a member.
Yeah.
Oh.
I still haven't got my membership
That's the way
yet.
I feel about it.
I still haven't got my membership yet.
You've been. I actually come like that.
I know.
I don't want to.
I know. Come on.
Come on for a minute.
Yeah, come on for a
look
minute.
at it.
No, I'm all right.
I'm good.
I'll
You could have laughed at my little baby picking the kitchen dinette table.
I probably would.
Yeah, you would have. It's a little small. Now it's not. You'll never see that thing again, ever.
Actually, I do want to go. I do want to come over to see your cat, though. I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. Actually,
you had a chance.
You see, I'm getting revoked. I'm getting revoked on my
all rights to come over my house has been revoked.
Sounds kind of karmic. What did you do?
He kept on inviting me. I kept on saying no.
No, we were coming back for something. Where were we coming back from?
Ashley's birthday.
Yeah. I was like, hey, you want to come up? No.
I said no. I'm all right.
I don't want to.
I said no. I'm all right. I want to sit here.
All it takes is once.
All it takes.
Dude,
he gave you the invite, man.
He gave me a couple times where let's go watch a football game at my house.
No, I don't. I want to watch at the bar.
I want to watch with other people.
You have ample amounts of food. Nobody bothering you. We had drinks. Just friends hanging out.
I know.
Sometimes I like to get away from the bar.
Two brothers.
I work there.
Yes.
I didn't say we had to go there.
But to another bar. But I had to pay for more stuff.
See, you're like two married old couples. God damn.
I don't want to be there.
As best friends are.
Introvert, extrovert.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah, that's how we are.
Dude, no, look.
No, you're not.
The reason why, it's a reason why I'm an introvert.
The reason why I'm an extrovert.
To want people in my business. I mix.
I like just being going out and having fun.
Yeah, you like, look at me.
You keep the circle except for the chosen.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why we're in it. That's why we're stuck where we're at.
He's an odd one.
Fantastic.
Love me, hate me, will never forget me.
It's a reason for it, man.
Yeah, I know.
I like to. I mean, shit. I like to keep people at arm's length. Joe likes to give me a hug.
Oh, everybody needs a hug.
Oh, is that a knife in my bag?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I've
Not again.
I got stabbed so many fucking times in my life.
I know. My back is like no scars on it.
Nope.
Yours, you have wounds all over the
Yeah,
place.
yeah, maybe that's why I have arthritis.
Maybe that's why you have these gray hairs.
Maybe that's why I'm afraid to get shanked again.
Yeah, you're worried about being old and stressed out.
Oh, I'll never be stressed though.
Yeah, whatever, Joe.
No,
You keep it going, man. You too.
my
It sounds good when you say it.
My body's clean.
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's
not
not.
stressed. My body's not stressed at all.
Except for the poison we're putting in it right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm drinking wine. No, it's grapes. This is what us Catholics drink, so I'm good.
Yeah, blame it on the Catholic Church.
Yep, that's right.
Blame it on the Catholic Church.
I,
All right,
I
guys,
see my
move
3
on.
Hail Marys. I'm still going through those fucking
Move on to
pearly
the
gate
next
abs.
situation.
I might have to say a little bit more, but so
Go ahead.
with all the shit I've done, damn, might make people turn. So with everything that you've done in your life, what's the one thing that you look back and say, God damn, I did that? Because we're learning a lot about you from bands and everything else. So I want to know what's the one thing that you look back and say, God, I did that shit.
Huh. That's an interesting question.
Oh,
I mean, there's no real bang moment, except for my daughter.
There you go.
You know, so my young little angel is going to be 35 this year, right?
I was expecting someone younger when he says
Yes.
that.
So little angel's going to be 35 this year. So that she is the bang up, because unfortunately, being a she,
Yeah, I know how that
who has taken a lot of my personal aspects, that poor
Yeah.
child. But she's been married now for 14 years.
Yeah.
You say 21, 14 years.
It's narrowing it down. That's all.
Yeah, no, so I did it
narrowing it
backwards.
24.
I did
21,
it
14.
backwards. She was 21. She's going to be 35, so
Yeah.
14 years.
Oh, wow.
See, mathematics.
Yes.
God,
So I do
wish
the
could
odd
do
math.
Mathematics, Joe.
that. No, I wish I could do that in my head.
It's a method
But,
to the madness.
As a kid, you know, she introduced me to the music that she listened to, and I've
Yeah.
got some of the odd stuff like Rufio and some of these other bands from like her vintage.
Who the fuck's Rufio?
Yeah.
See, you instill some greatness in it.
Who the fuck's Rufio?
Yeah.
Well, listen,
You'll stumble across them. You'll look them up now and you'll go,
I'm going to look 'em
oh,
up.
I've heard those guys. But then on the flip, I said, no, give these guys a listen to. Here's Queen. She was absolutely floored.
All right. Since you brought up music again, what's the one music that you really, besides Queen, really pushed on your daughter on your generation?
Zeppelin. Yeah. Yeah. As you get through their initial blues based music in the first album, and you get to the synthesizers, by the time you get to the end, they really kind of moved along. They were pretty interesting the way they kind of
moving in
did
their
it.
element. It's like Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones is still packing a venue, is still packing arenas. They went through their atmospheres and for everything else. I respect more bands that do that in their life and everything, because they went through the genres and everything else from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
Aughts,
Yeah.
10s.
Yeah. Now they're in their decades. Now they're in decades where they made everything else and they're still packing arenas. They're not one of these bands that
some
are
of the
doing
ones that made it.
Yeah. They're not one of these bands that now are doing festivals. Casinos. Small casinos, I shouldn't say it. Nothing that's in Vegas. Small casinos. Everything else in their life.
That's another interesting sideline. When I lived in the town of New Lenox in Illinois, they had an outdoor arena that the town built. It was kind of like the central city park, if you will.
Yeah.
And they had a band pavilion. And years and years ago, they used to engage in this thing called the triple play. And they would bring in 3 band pairs through the summer and it was like a set dollar amount. It was like $30 a concert. Like, who did I see there? Peter Frampton, Heart.
I saw
shit.
It was Starship played there. So these were bands where you go, are they playing festivals? No, they're actually back to playing venues. But I got to see them in this 4,000 seat outdoor arena on a summer night.
I seen him actually do Nation.
Did you really?
Yeah, Peter Frampton, dude, that was fucking awesome. That was one of the better shows I ever seen that I loved when I saw it and when I was on the board. Everything else was shit when I was on the board.
This is a question to both of you. If there's anything in the music business that you can change, one thing you could change in the music business, what would it be?
It's tough for me to say now because it's really kind of collapsed in on itself. One thing that I miss, and it may be because of the medium now, YouTube, is that there is a ton of excellent solo players out there. What I would love to see is the reformation of the band context. That's one thing that I really don't see. It's you've got certain guys that get together and they're almost like a super group from the old day. It's like, well, here's our version of Asian. It's this guy who's a monster on guitar and this guy who's a monster on drums, but you can tell they don't play together all the time.
Right.
So it's kind of like it's patchwork. There's no band that's integrated and working together, at least that I've seen.
Yeah.
So that's the one major thing. If I were to say, get the music industry back into some type of semblance, have them chase down good bands again and promote them, and let's see. And even if it's a low-end dollar promotion, if you can push them out on YouTube, buy ads.
Yeah.
I want to see a band like that pop up in my feed.
Right.
No, I got the whiz-bang guitar guy that can pay, 50,000 notes a second, but it's not this band paradigm. So I find myself going backwards in listening to the older music again, because that was a band that played well together.
Right. Joe?
That is a tough question though, but I would say probably I'm going back on live music because I'm like him. I'm like you now because
just remember the question.
I would be still. I would love to bring back music that means something, that represents something, that is not. I'll go with the rap. It's not mumble. It's not just stupid words coming out. They're words that rhyme, that mean something, that is something that you can dance to and stuff like that. And the only other thing that I would love to change is the price of tickets back in the day that you can go to that can go to a concert and see a concert that's less than $800, $1,000, something that is like affordable for everybody out there in the world that wants to go see you. Let them. I would love that.
Nobody wants to spend the time unless they get the huge dollars. But that also steers me back to why I love local live music.
Yeah.
So a lot of these bands, you can tell they played together for a long time, and they're just a hoot. They've kind of got their own mesh. They're a hoot, brother.
They're a hoot.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, I love live music. I mean, I was a DJ in my life. Everything else, I would choose a live music over a DJ in a heartbeat. I would choose live music over anything because, like you were just saying, they're playing for their heart. They're playing because they don't care. They're making $500, $1,500, or actually, $1,500, and everything else in the world because they're splitting it with everybody else. But they're playing it because they love seeing people dance. They love seeing people have a good time. They love to hear that they're playing something for those people.
Yeah.
That's the best feeling.
The flip is the bands where they got together because they didn't have a retirement plan.
Yeah.
And they're jaded. It's like you're playing the songs, but I don't feel the love.
I mean, these guys that play I will call them out because I love to have you on Rybells, but the people at Rybells going up there and playing acoustic just for a couple hours.
They're brave.
They're just doing it because they love to have and love to sing and they love to just perform.
I'm sure they want to get paid too.
Well, yeah, but they're not getting paid much. They're only getting paid at least maybe $400.
No, still that's a payday, man.
That's a payday, but they're coming back. But they're doing it because they love playing live music. They can get it. They have a job.
Yeah.
They have a second job. Most likely, you can't live off of $400 at all. If that's your one gig for that week, there's no way you're living off $400 off that 1 week at all.
Maybe they have multiple gigs you don't know about.
But yeah, but I'm saying, but my thing is, you're still got to get taxed. After a while, you make so much in a year, you have to claim that. You have to claim your side gig if you make so much money.
Oh, yeah.
If you charge like over $500, you've got to claim that shit after a while. I'm sorry. They're gonna the government.
It's all tips.
The government's gonna find. The government's gonna find get their money, no matter what. The government's gonna get their money. So, I love live music in a heartbeat, and I love dancing to it because it's fun. It's you feel like, I hate to say this, you're back at Woodstock, and you're just dancing and you're having a good time. You don't care what people fucking think about you.
Is that your answer to this question?
Yeah. What about you though?
For anybody that's in the industry, as far as getting signed to labels, things of that nature, have your being able to have your masters to your music.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say this though.
No, hold on, let me finish.
Yeah,
you have a chance.
Go ahead.
That means a lot to an artist right there to have their own power over their own music. And a lot of artists in the industry have been robbed of that,
ripped off.
I mean, just remember Prince, what he had to go through.
No.
Michael Jackson, what he had to go through.
Oh, I have a rebuttal on that. So
I know. I'm saying
I know. I am.
Those certain instances right there. It's just like a lot of rappers and a lot of people across all genres had that problem where they got into the business not knowing the industry, not knowing how things work, and they get robbed for their copyrights to their own music.
Have you watched Rick Beato?
No, I haven't.
Chase him down on YouTube.
Yeah,
he's been a music producer for a very long time, and he's had great discussions with music insiders, company insiders, as well as other producers, explaining why the industry hit its demise. But they hit that topic.
Yeah.
And they hit that topic hard.
Oh, that's a big part of it. Because these music industries get really greedy, and they tell the new upcoming artists that they're what they want them to hear, more or less, and they don't give them the ins and outs. This is why you don't go in head first when you mess with the industry like that, or a record label like that, because you don't know the ins and outs, the fine lines of the contract, and you don't read all that, because if you don't have your lawyer, you go in there with nobody in general, then you're gonna get screwed over.
Right.
But isn't that their fucking fault then?
No, yeah, it is.
So of all the people you just said, no offense, they're all great people. They went head first in thinking
of
yes,
course,
but I don't blame the record deep people. They're smart.
You have to.
No, I'm not, because it's the person that is making the songs and making everything else. You had yours.
No, dude, I wasn't even finished.
But my thing is, they went head first in.
No, but still, everybody should have that chance to where they can get to have their own copyrights to their own music.
Reading the contract better, dumbass.
Of course. This is where the industry gets over on people.
It's not getting over.
Yes, Joe, it is. It is.
I don't think it is. I look at it both ways. I see, yes, you are right that they're, yes, they are in their rights where, yes, they should have the rights to their own music. But my eyes and the contract eyes, you should read your contract a lot better.
Well,
or have somebody read it for you.
Some of these people have the option of doing that. They're so excited about getting signed and getting a lump sum of money right in front of them. That looks like a lot of money at first. But if you don't read
my rebuttal.
Yeah.
How many times you been married?
Twice. Actually, once, technically. I got my first one annulled because it 6 months I can get annulled because I'm Catholic.
I got you beat on the count. But
beat on the count.
Did you find all the clauses?
You did not.
Behind the people you married.
Yeah, because we split everything 50-50. We had nothing wrong. They didn't do anything.
After the fact, but did you find all the clauses that would have led to that beforehand? So it's like a Jackson Brown lyric.
The first one, nothing was split. Nothing happened.
You didn't know all the shoals. You didn't know all the crash points. You didn't know all this. That's the same.
That was my fault for dating, yes.
But that's the same thing with the band.
Well, yeah.
That is in love with the process.
Yes.
And a bitter ex-spouse.
I want this.
I see where you went with that.
It's emotional.
Exactly.
The bands are emotional.
But
I can't believe you're going to front me $50,000 to do this. But what you don't find out is, okay, yeah, we sold a ton of records, but the profit
made millions
was $1 million.
That's my thing.
Right?
You go back and you find out they had this clause on you, and you're trying to fight for your record, your songs back. I'm sorry. You signed that fucking contract.
So you saying that 18, you would have went in head first knowing that. You had no idea what you're getting into.
I mean, yeah,
you would have read the contract thoroughly.
No, I wouldn't have. I would admit that. I would admit it. I would. I know. I'm saying now. I see your point, but my thing is, you cannot blame these people at all.
Yeah, you can.
You cannot blame the record deal. They're doing the right thing.
You can.
I see they're doing the right thing. They're doing what they want to do.
Yes, you can.
It goes back to what he was saying earlier. It's all about the fucking money.
Yes.
And my thing is, you cannot
just prove my point.
Yeah. But I'm not mad at the record deal for doing it.
Just prove my point, though.
But I'm not mad at the record deal.
I'm not asking if you're mad. I'm talking about the people that get.
And I think the people that sign are dumb.
You would be dumb too in that situation.
Actually, I would be.
Everybody would be. Yeah. No offense. If they push a $500,000 record deal in front of anybody, everybody's gonna fucking take it.
Not the smart ones.
No, the most of them, yes.
And the ones in the beginning never knew anything about this.
That's what I'm saying.
Read the fine print. Or hey, I need a lawyer present to make sure
the older ones. I don't feel bad. I don't feel no remorse at all.
The person that's out of poverty doesn't think of that.
That's what I'm saying.
So
why would you fight for your rights back?
Don't call them dumb and say, hey, that's stupid. You're the dummy for not reading it. But when you get an opportunity to have because you have a talent to do something, and then they screw you over.
So
screw you over on purpose.
So you're telling me
to get the copyrights to your.
I just go what you just said right there. Their talent. So if they believe in their talent and everything else, and they love their talent, why should they want to fight for their records back? Because that records made them money. Wait, let me finish. So the records made them money. Now they're getting greedy themselves. And they want those that records back that they made.
They made that music. That's their creation. That's what they have.
But now they want to make money off that themselves.
The companies that make that music.
Who's greedy now?
Yeah.
Who's greedy now, though?
What?
Who's greedy now? They want to make money off their own shit. Who's more greedy? Do it for the fucking music.
Not everybody does it for the music, Joe.
But the music's their creativity.
Yes.
Yes, but now who's greedy though?
They
see how much money the record deal made off of. Now I can make that back.
It's about creating generational wealth for your family.
And they're already fucking rich.
No.
Not to start.
Not to start.
But when they finally realize, like you said, Prince was already fucking rich when he tried to fight his money back.
He made that music.
But he was already rich.
But he made that music.
Why would you care?
That's the money that he got from the company.
Here's a
Kevin
different
is
way.
twice as rich as he is.
Yeah.
Why would you want to be twice as rich? You're already rich.
That's his music.
Here's
He
a different
made
way.
It's already out.
He made that though.
But here's a different way of framing it. Frame it in the terms of copyright. So the band is the creator.
Yes.
They've created all this. Copyright should protect them. But what it protects is the company that said, we're going to prepay you $50K so we can make $1 million. And we're
probably a lot more than that.
Oh, it could be huge. Some they lose.
Yeah.
But what I see is, think of it this way. If the corporation, and this will get into a different turn, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
If the corporation had worked with them in good conscience and fairness, right?
Yes.
It could end up being mutual. What happened is it always ended up being one-sided. So the Sonys of the world and all these other, okay. But it's no different than what you see in corporate America. So you've got corporations that have worked out their structures, whether it's through NAFTA or, all this other shenanigan. Through their lawyers, they've committed labor arbitrage, moved their manufacturing out of the country to make more billions in profit. So the question is, why weren't you satisfied with 7 billion in profit a year? You've determined you have to grow that. So this year we want to have 10 billion in profit. So you 6,000 guys, we're sacking you all and we're moving to Monterey. That is, in my brain, there's got to be some type of thought to the process away from this. We want to grow our earnings to the detriment of the people that got us here.
Yeah.
The music companies grew their earnings to the detriment of the people that got them there. There's parallels through the corporate world in all regards, and it's kind of horrible to watch.
I'll go with your statement, but he's got to answer this question though. But I understand what you're saying. So with your whole aspect, yes, that actually I like how you said that. But here's my thing with my question to actually both of you want to answer it. So with the guy that created, say, I'm creating Fiji Records. I'm just saying that because of what's in front of me. Fiji Records. And I booked this person. Are you guys going to give them full rights to every single thing in their life? Wait, let me finish. Every single thing to anything and everything that he writes to everything. But the Fiji Records is not going to make shit. Or are you going to say everything that they records deals do now, so I can make my own money and I can build up from that and build a monopoly of who I am and going to be the top Fiji Records? Would you guys really give every single right?
Who the fuck about the record company? First of all,
if I'm booking you, that's what I'm saying.
First of all, record companies don't book.
I'm just saying, if I'm going to be the producer and everything else, and I book you to do everything for me, and I give you the rights to everything, are you going to do that because you want to be number one, or are you going to be the most proper guy in the world to give the rights to everybody?
No, this is what's wrong with it. They don't have publishing companies. People don't have the rights to publishing companies anymore.
But you didn't answer the question.
No, just let me get to the point.
Okay.
They don't have publishing companies. For instance, I'll show you a group that tried to put a publishing company together in the middle of being great groups. Otis Redding, was one. He's trying to get a couple of guys from Motown. They all died mysteriously.
I know the whole story.
They all died mysteriously. You can even go with say for instance, it was a rap group, couple of rap labels that wanted to independently start their own publishing groups. They all went to prison mysteriously. There's a point right now where these record companies don't want you to have that publishing rights at all. They want all the money. So they tell these new artists certain things, especially new artists, especially the ones that don't have the wealth or the knowledge to do this stuff. They get them very early. And when they get them very early, they don't know how to attack this because they don't have lawyers. They can do it themselves or with their surrounding group that's with them. Whether it's their
I'm asking that question though. Would you be that one person?
Let me get to the point. I'm trying to give you. I'm setting this up for you.
Okay.
Where they get their parents involved or their relatives involved to be the manager to construct these contracts for them, and they don't know what they're doing. Now, when you get down to that point where you're ready to sign that name on the dotted line for your contract, and you get offered
$500,000,
cash right there in front of you,
yes,
you're gonna take that cash off the bat. You're gonna take that money right there. Oh, I've never seen this much money.
I understand this so far.
Notorious Big was one of them.
I know.
Well, he got offered $25,000.
I'm asking if you would be that person.
Dude, let me get to the point. You keep interrupting. Let me get to the point.
Long term. Come on.
Let me get to the point. What I'm saying is, I would personally, knowing that what I know now, yes.
No. Oh, okay. I'll go with that.
Knowing that what I know now, and a lot of people have done this after the fact. They've seen people like certain groups get robbed of their publishing rights. Winning their Master P was one of them.
I know. Keep going.
That dude got 80% of his publishing rights. 80%. That's a lot. And only pay the publishing group 20%. That is smart. But he had to sit back and watch all. Me personally, I would go along those lines. I would make sure that I get my publishing rights.
So you would want your publishing rights?
Yes. Generational wealth.
See, I would totally.
That's what Black people don't have this nowadays. Generational wealth. You look at all the rappers, new rappers coming in, they have all these big stacks of money and stuff like that. They don't have generational wealth. You see that big wad of money, they're going to want to take that. And that's what they bank on. This is why we're getting so much shitty ass hip hop nowadays. Because they put anything out on the streets. Sex, drugs, violence, sales.
Right.
And cursing. A lot of
Well,
cursing.
it all goes hand in hand. That's just a subtitle to it.
But in my brain, it still comes back to corporate governance. Okay. If you have these new bands that you bring on, you've got this level of faith in them.
Yeah.
You set it up where you can set aside 30, 70, and all you're doing is promoting. Now, where bands make their own money is when they go off the reservation, they run their own tours.
Yeah.
Okay. But they still have to kick back because the record company owns the material.
Because they fronted them money before that.
But if you actually had a business relationship, so the record companies were for short-term cutthroat contracts to steal it.
Yeah.
I bet they'd still all be in business today if they were working on a 30-70 or a 40-60.
Yeah.
Where they were promoting and bringing up new acts and being satisfied with ongoing revenue, as opposed to being, I'm going to be the keeper of all things. But again, this gets to the point of the money and human nature is the problem we're getting into.
Yeah.
And that's always
like
been
you
the
said,
case.
money is the root of all evil.
It is.
Yeah.
You know how I would work that? Both you guys' systems. If I was a rapper, or I was a rapper, or anything, if I was anything in my life, I'll say yes. You have all rights to my music, but I have all rights to all downloads, to everything else out there, and it's gonna compensate more because it's a digital world. If you are smart now, you would let them. Okay, fine, fuck it. You can have my rights to my songs, but I have all the rights to everything that's downloaded, everything that's produced, everything that is there. You have rights to my song, but everything that is produced, generated on the internet, downloaded, money making is all mine.
Yeah.
You're going to make more money off of that
Nope.
No, you won't.
So here's the
Yes,
problem,
you
and
will,
this is
because
this
it's
is
a whole new generation.
No,
I'm
you
telling
won't.
you.
No, you
but
won't.
this is what you
Whole
run
new
into:
generation.
supply and demand. So here's what happened, and I've noticed it from Spotify, and you could see these bands and a lot of the old bands. Okay, 92 million downloads a month of this particular song at 0.00000 whatever it is. Where it would have worked is if we still had physical media. Now, you could still copy physical media, right? It was a little bit of a go round. But like I said, I would always choose to buy. Once I find somebody I like, I would buy the physical media that's what they had.
Yeah.
Once this stuff is free in the wild, and basically this modern medium approaches zero in value, even for people that are huge names.
But
You have to split that with the
But-
ones that's distributing this stuff,
Yeah.
which is Spotify, the record label, your lawyers.
But Spotify is getting all that download. You're still getting money off that download. That's the way I was going with it. But now,
Not as much as you
but
think
you,
they
but
are.
I know. But now it's a newer generation. Your generation, yes, you're going to go out and buy that. The newer generation, not going to buy it any much anymore.
Correct.
They don't want to
And
buy a
That's
whole
why there's
CD.
no. So unless they're
everything else.
subscribing,
Yeah,
and this is where the subscription model has failed too.
Yeah.
Because nobody's paying for it. Unless you subscribe to it, basically like the Spotify content is free.
Yeah, you can get that for free. Yeah. You don't have to download, you can listen to it.
yeah, you can listen to
I'll
it.
stream it. So I've got the same thing, but there's zero cash flow.
But every stream that you do is still tacked on how many times it's been streamed.
Right,
And that's still money off of
And
Spotify.
so
So
at the
everything else.
current
and
rate-
that
Who
is-
makes more, the artist or the company that
all depends on about 10%.
who makes
or
more?
5%.
Who makes more?
Right. So that gets back to the governance part. If you split it correctly,
We would never know that.
the band would be getting it. The company
The band
gets
would be
free money.
the band would be stay more relevant for a longer period of time.
Right.
And especially if they're getting paid for it.
The only thing I'm always,
Even if you go
I-
50-50, that's better than 90-10.
that's why
You know what I mean?
I'm
Or
a
98.
that's why I'm so
2.
hostile.
Yeah,
on this.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so hostile on this, because I don't have any remorse over the older bands that made money off
They
it.
didn't do it by the internet then.
I know, but no one knew about it. You
They did
can't
about-
predict the
they did
future
it
on
by
it. Once it
tours.
goes
Right.
back to what we were
But
talking
it
about
was still
before.
the supply and demand of physical
But-
media.
Yeah, but my thing is
And
now,
then concerts.
yeah, I mean, the only people I feel really, I actually feel really bad for is the ones like Otis Redding, and or the family of Marvin Gaye, or anybody that's out there that still hears the music and still listens to music and downloads it, and they're not making money off of that because the band, the producers are, and everything else,
Right.
and the record label, they're making money off of that. But that's the only people I feel bad for. It's not these newer generation. It's not
They all
anybody
get
that's
robbed,
from
dude.
2000. It's not anybody from 2000 up.
They don't
I
make as
care
much money as the
less.
record labels do. Record labels make much more money than
Yeah.
independent artists.
I
or
don't
any
feel
artist.
bad for anybody that is from 2000 up, because they should be fucking
This is
smart
why-
to get a fucking lawyer or get somebody
You
that's
keep saying
involved.
that. You keep saying that. You keep saying that.
I have a lawyer.
Keep saying that. Keep saying that.
And I will.
What I'm saying is,
I don't feel bad for
what I'm
them at
saying
all.
is, you haven't started a band. You haven't made any music. You haven't put anything out there like that
No,
in order to be in that position.
I'll be the one person that would jump on that bandwagon
Because
and
if
they give me that check. Say, oh my god,
I'm saying, no, but of
Sign
course,
away.
then you sign your life away. You got to make a certain amount of albums
Yes,
in order to get paid a certain amount of
I
money.
know.
Well, they're making millions off your
Aaron
your
Lewis,
work.
the best
They
person
have
I
the
ever had.
copyrights to your work,
I know.
and you have nothing left. When you're done and retired, you get nothing.
I understand
You
that,
get nothing.
but I had a fucking good ride.
What are you
Short term.
dude?
Yeah,
What are you
it
on,
is.
man? You had a good ride. Would you want that shit to pay over to your your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren? I would. That makes no fucking sense to me.
My thing is, I was dumb then for
And
signing.
you're dumb now for saying that.
No, because if I made that much money, should have been smarter than to invest it or anything else in my life.
You could have still made more money after you passed on.
Well, I understand that, but that's why I look back at the Rolling Stones. They're still smart. they still went around the future. They
They
still
still play.
it.
They still play
They're still,
till their 80s.
yeah.
Dude, that's not
they-
like you want to live.
But so here's a question.
I think they love it. They wouldn't be still playing.
No, they have to play.
Are either you guys on top of any bands being promoted by any of them record companies?
No,
Around here or
No.
No,
what are you
anywhere.
talking about?
no. I have no. But
Anywhere.
I kind of got a sense of what's going on. It's kind of. I'm saying I'm professional about it or anything like that, but no, I don't.
I talked to
so
a couple.
much.
I talked to a couple of people that's been around. Like I talked to Dave Carlock about stuff like that, him producing songs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have, and I talked to actually one time. I talked to who's the guy that played with Poison?
Oh, tomorrow, Broad.
No, who?
Who played with boys?
That's now has the long blonde hair. Can't think. He's a local guy around here that does. I think it's Dave. No, I don't. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I talked to him too about stuff when he was on and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I talked to people that has produced. Like Dave Carlock is a great guy. He's been produced a lot of songs. I even talked to actually Duke Tomato about his past life of being in songs. Oh no, actually 2 years ago.
Okay.
And he told me, yeah, he did all that and he done songs and
Right.
but
And the producers are every
Yeah.
bit as brilliant as the bands. But the problem is that the whole infrastructure that promoted it is dead from
Yeah.
its own greed. If all these companies had stuck to being even-handed
Yeah.
with dealing things, they could still be promoting and making genres of music and promoting bands
Oh, yeah.
and getting
Oh, yeah.
things to move. They cut their own throats. So now the problem I have is, okay, where's the modern music? And if I go for the Spotify top 20, I go, there's nothing there that's really that interesting.
Exactly.
Because a lot of stuff is, okay, somebody produced that in their basement.
Yeah.
Or this group has done it themselves. Or even if you have a good producer and you like the music, there's no promotion to it. And you go, this is really cool. I'm downloading it for free off Spotify. So there's no push on the revenue side anymore to actually make profit for them and profit for the band.
Right.
It's like everybody's cut loose. We're in a very odd time right now where all the stuff that had structure that worked kind of together, even when they're screwing people.
Yeah.
It still pushed a few people to the front. There were still a lot of people at the back that were probably equally good bands, and whatever the A&R guy was listening to that day, he just didn't like it. Flip of a quarter, it is Rush, but it's not this band here
Right.
that might have been twice as good. Right. Nobody knew, or at least their neighborhood found out they were good.
That business. Go ahead.
Oh, let's go ahead.
I was gonna say the business is ruthless. It'll spit you out at a moment's notice.
Well, yeah.
Once it's done with you.
I mean, I always like to quote Aaron Lewis on this one because he was part of Stain. And when he even says in a lot of his songs that this guy, like you were saying, pushed a record deal on me, but you got to live it this way and you got to live it here. You got to drop your girlfriend and do this and do that. He says that in his songs. And this guy says, I'm signing pretty much my record deal, my deathbed on this, and it goes from there. But what I was going to say to you, my thing is, do you have any remorse or feel bad for the people that sign that deal at all? That give that $50 million, $500,000 check and say, hey, this is how much money you're going to make. This is what you're going to get. And you get to sign, your life away on this record deal. Do you feel
feel sorry and compassion for them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
But why? I don't understand why though.
Because the one side is definitely greater than the other coming into that deal. But the company side, it knows what they're doing. They have
besides the company side,
they have corporate lawyers for a reason.
Right.
They handle this stuff.
How about the guy that finds them?
That has nothing to do with it.
Well, no, that guy makes money off of that.
Well, of course, but he's not making what the company.
Oh, he's making a lot off.
He's
of
not
that.
making what the company is making.
No, but he's making a lot off of that.
But he is paid.
He's paid
by
very
the
well
company.
by the company.
Yeah.
But the way it used to work is everybody used to flood the A&R guy
Yeah.
with mail.
Yeah.
Here's my cassette.
Yep. But
His job was to listen to him and go, hey, this is cool. Let's go see him.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then they find someone to scout. It's pretty much a scout. It's pretty much like baseball. You can go back to baseball on this.
Yes.
So these people that are signing their baseball careers life and they flop, but you have no rights to anything else after that. If you flop, you get nothing. At least some of these people that have record deals get something. They get something from it. They get maybe barely nothing, but they get something. I don't care. It's like $100 a month.
First of all, I'm gonna say you're wrong on that because
you think baseball people?
No. I'm saying when companies like a record company signs a person for a record deal, they already have, even if they know they suck, they already have a one hit for them to be aggressive.
If they have that, yes.
And this is where you get your one hit wonders from. They have that one hit.
They got that one. Yeah.
That'll get them that money back that they already gave.
Do you know what a one hit is though?
They gave that person that down payment for. They've already made that money back. If it's a one hit wonders normally last at least 6 to 8 months on the top 200.
No, one hit wonder is you hit the hit number one hit.
Exactly.
And that's your only
That's
one.
your only one. That's a number one hit.
But it might be charted for 5-6 months.
It doesn't matter if you're in the top 200. No, it doesn't matter if top 200. You get money for 200.
Listen.
But number one hit wonder is number one.
They make that money off their top 200. The record companies make
low
that
stream,
money.
you still make something.
Not low stream, it's high stream. What are you talking about?
No, one hit wonder is you can't stop saying one hit wonder. Then you say top 200.
You not understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying. Stop saying
one hit wonder is a top 200 list of
not
top songs that are being played.
One hit wonder is a one hit.
They don't play it once.
They're the number one chart.
They don't play it once.
No, one hit wonder is the number one.
One hit wonders get played on TV. They get played on radio ads. They get played on all kinds of stuff.
One hit wonder is
no shit.
No, number one on the Billboard.
No shit.
It's not the top 200. No, you're in the top 200. You're in the top 200, but you're not
Billboard top 200.
So if you're 200,
God,
if you're number 200,
stop.
If you're number 200,
I ain't saying
you're not gonna.
I'm not saying you're 200.
I'm just saying.
I said in the top 200.
No,
you could be number one in that.
So the way to look at it is the one hit wonder means only one hit, one song on the
album. That's number one, one hit wonder.
I think what you're saying is the money that it gets when that one hit went up the chart and came back down the chart.
Exactly. It still gets played.
Exceeded the money the company put into the whole album.
It does. It happens.
If you hit the number one spot, you're gonna make your money.
Dude, it starts from the bottom and works its way up to the number one spot in the in the world.
And then it falls.
Then it falls back down.
It might be 20 weeks. It might be 40 weeks.
Played though. It's still being played.
You make your money back.
Yes, you make your money back that you put up front for that person to have that one hit.
But with that one hit, I say yes. You're somewhat breaking even.
Ice made a shitload of money off Ice Baby.
Well, yeah, but he's touring. You got to count.
He made a lot of money off of that.
Do you understand? You can raise your hands up in the air. I'll high five you. But these people are touring. These people are going around.
That's making him money.
But no.
But the hit going up and down the chart was the company that.
But these people are making. They had to push the money out to pay for the tours. Pay for the
no, they don't.
Tours. Yes,
he has to pay for
contract.
That. He has to pay for that.
No, it's in this contract. You got to do one world tour or one half U.S. tour. You got to do all these single states. You got to do everything.
He has to pay for that.
No,
yes, he
the
does.
record deal does.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, the money comes out of the tour.
Tour, yeah.
Yeah, it comes out of the tour money. That comes out of the record deal. That comes out of the producer's deal. That comes out of the record
Thank
deal.
you.
Everything
You
else.
just proved my point.
But I'm saying, so yeah, they want him to make that one-hit wonder to go crime up because
They already have it in place, Joe. Stop it.
No.
Yes, they do.
How do you know this? Are you a record deal?
They do.
Are you a producer?
They have it in place for
Are you a
him to
producer?
succeed. Maybe the dude looks really good. Rico Suave. Ricky Martin. Ricky Martin. Another excuse from another example right there.
He had 2 hits.
Yeah, one that made him a big chart seller.
Whoa.
What was that?
I would say that Chinese guy. What is his name? She bangs. No,
that's another one.
Sing.
That's another example.
Yeah,
that's another example.
That's the best example you could do. Sing, that guy, that Kamdon style guy.
Yes, gang. I'm not Korean, but maybe he was.
But he was a one-hit wonder in the U.S. He was a hit one hit in the U.S.
He probably was one hit.
What record company?
He probably made that one hit and then sold a lot throughout the world.
Yeah,
and the U.S. caught on to it and made it a hit in the U.S.
Yeah,
I'm just saying these companies they have things in order.
I'm promoting them. I love how they make money.
Who, the companies?
Fuck that. Hell yeah, they're smart. They're smart when they did it.
Yeah, until they mess with you and you have a one-hit wonder and you.
I'll still sign that fucking check and I got my half a mil.
Shit you out.
I got half a mil. I'll be
you're
happy.
done. You back at the old Joe Hill.
10 years later, you're watching. 10 years later, you're watching TV and there's your song.
I don't get any copyrights. I don't have any copyrights to that.
See, that thing is.
This is playing on all kinds of commercials and shit.
See, my thing is, but you make money on
movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember I made that song, but I don't get any money from it. No royalties from it.
If you own the rights.
If I own the rights.
If you own the rights, you have
if the company owns the rights. So that's what gets back to your initial point.
Thank you.
Have the artist own the material. Let the company front the money, but agree to a certain percentage on ongoing royalties.
Yeah. Then it goes back to my point. Read the fucking contract, you dumbass.
You have to come in with a mindset that, hey, I want my royalties.
Stop looking at that fucking check that they give you.
No, and of course.
Goes back to what I was saying.
Of course. Well, you said I would take that money.
But I would because,
So shut up then.
I would take the money in the heartbeat.
Stop it.
Why?
Stop it.
Why could I?
Stop it, dude.
No,
we have to end the podcast.
No.
We have to end the podcast.
No. Sorry.
So when you click that button, when you're agreeing to the software online to use whatever the package is.
Yeah.
Oh. What are you talking about? Him?
Stop it. Stop it.
You talking about him right there?
We get to the end of the podcast. It's already
it's going back on you again.
Yeah, you just got out of line a little bit.
Oh, I'm just being like how you are. I'm being determined.
That's not determined. I'm being right. You're just
I can be my right. I have my fucking opinion.
Okay, it's okay. You keep to yourself. How about that?
No, you have your opinion. I'm fine.
I gotta say, spending time with you guys, we all put the FU in fun. So
yeah, there you go.
It's all golden.
All right, we're gonna go do our final thoughts. We go around the table, Ron, and just send a shout out to people that mean the most to you, or anything that's coming up for you.
Well, Buff was hanging out for a while, and
she said, "I'm out of here."
She listened and she laughed because
she didn't comment.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a treat, but the more I spend time out with everybody, I can talk to anybody and I got a ton of opinions. And I think this is probably not our last get together.
It won't be.
It's an absolute pleasure because I'm familiar with you guys and the local scene too. And I'm interested in seeing if it continues to develop. So Nardos. I mashed the two names because there's the history and there's the current ownership, right?
I like it.
but the interesting thing would be to see can the area attract enough people to cycle back into that type of environment?
Yeah.
like I was saying before, it seems humans they kind of do the one-hit wonder and what's the next best. But I'm optimistic to see it continue.
There you go. All right, Joe, you're next. Joe's frustrated.
Trying to think of
You're looking at the blue light for inspiration.
no, actually, I was looking at my feet.
For inspiration.
I would say for having you on has been a treat because actually I didn't know you were in a band, and everything else that you told us about your family, respect to that, growing up and everything else, and getting us out of our element. A lot of people don't do that with us. So us going back and forth how we are right now, it's awesome that we can compete with that. And you bringing us out of our element, thank you. And God bless you, and God, you keep rocking it out and playing that bass.
He has endlessly. I wake up every day thankful.
That was awesome that you took us out of our element. Thank you.
All right, Ron, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you.
That was a pleasure. Thank you guys for inviting me.
This was a good speaking of event that we had. Even though I know me and Joe didn't get along with that one, we got a little on different terms and different viewpoints with that, which is cool. I don't mind. I love going back and forth. But for having you come in, I appreciate you so much.
That's
Appreciate it. And this won't be the last.
Yeah.
This won't be the last. I promise you that. You're very articulate, and not only that, you're very knowledgeable of things. And this is something that makes me happy when I hear somebody else talking about things I can learn from. Much appreciated. All right, guys, this is the 104th episode, Third Eye Truth There podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please once again like. What? We did?
Yeah.
Please subscribe, and not only that, like and hit the bell notification for more content that's coming out soon next week, Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Who's the next one, Joe?
Mike Petlick.
All right, Mike, you're up next to bat.
And he owns the Woods obstacle course and the whole dog thing that he built on his own, and he also owns a landscaping company.
All right, we're looking forward to that episode. All right, guys, we're going to be signing off shortly here, but I want to thank Ron.
What's his last name?
Stop. Stop.
Just rhymes with 104.
Four.
Bam, bam.
That's it, right?
Neforas, yeah.
Neforas. You didn't even know his last name. Shut up.
No, I'm not going to try to
shut up.
his last name.
Stop talking trash over there.
It's okay.
All right, guys. We're going to bail out of here, guys. We'll see you next time, 8 p.m. Monday night. And thank you for joining us, guys. Appreciate it. All right, guys. We're headed out. Just done. All right, guys. See you later.